This is your average Joe talking about something for Cigar Sunday. This is a new topic, kind of line of discussion that I'm thinking I am going to go ahead and do for Sundays. If you like it, please go ahead and comment below and like the video. If not, go ahead and comment below and tell me what you don't like about this. Please don't dislike the video, but if you dislike it, then feel free to go ahead and do so. If you like my content and what I've been doing so far, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and comment below and tell me what a topic or discussion that you'd like to hear me talk about in a future video. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and set up a little bit of a scene here. I don't typically watch movie trailers, and there was one that went ahead and dropped this week. It had a little bit of a controversy to it in that it shows a prolific superhero just punching an old woman in the face. I mean, literally, it's a meaty punch too. And you know, it had a little bit of a controversy for violence against women, which then it had an interesting little mini reverse backlash to the people who had a controversy with it because of who the superhero is, in that basically it was kind of almost excused and everyone moved on because there was another trailer release that went ahead and detailed out exactly why this superhero did what she did, this being Captain Marvel. Now, this is a very prolific superhero. She's going to be a big part of Avengers Endgame. She's going to go ahead and probably be a major player in future Marvel movies. And not to mention the fact that she's also the major pop culture icon of third-wave feminists. Really just, you know, she is what to third-wave feminists was what Wonder Woman was to second-wave feminists. So why am I talking about this? Well, here's the thing. I'm referencing the same scene for a completely different reason. And I went ahead and looked this up. I did my research. I followed through. And no one is talking about this, so I decided to talk about it myself. In that there is actually a very interesting resemblance in this scene. Now, 7 seconds into this trailer, you see the face of an older lady that looks up to Captain Marvel, and she smiles very sweetly, and Captain Marvel just punches her in the face. I mean, literally just drops this lady. The lady then proceeds to go ahead and do a backflip, flip up and over the seat. There's a little encounter. The trailer doesn't show what happens to her, but it then shows Captain Marvel standing over her, triumphant and just looking ridiculously like badass. And that's the end of it. And then it goes on to the backstory behind Captain Marvel, but that's not what I'm going to be talking about. I'm talking about this scene in particular, in that the old lady in this scene bears an interesting resemblance to a figure that took place in a very prominent, very distasteful, and overall extremely politicized circus that happened in this country earlier this year. This country being the United States. If that hasn't been clear, I'm from the United States, so I do speak about our stuff a little bit more currently than other countries. That being said, this would be, and no, this isn't Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running for the New York Senator's governor's seat, whatever, Congress seat. Speaking of which, that's an entirely hilarious discussion in and of itself. But no, it's much worse than that. It's actually something that completely had quite a few people on the edges of their seats in a way that not even the 2016 election did. This was the case during the confirmation hearing of the current Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh and his accuser, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. What's interesting is in the Captain Marvel trailer, the old lady that is shown bears a striking resemblance to Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. I am talking very, very similar. And I do believe that there's a purpose to this. Now, if anyone's been paying attention to the comic book side of things, you'll understand, especially when it comes to Marvel, they're very social justice oriented right now. And it's the reason why they've very much been pushing Captain Marvel forward very, very prolifically. Now, is that saying that her part in Avengers Endgame is a social justice move or anything? No. That is story-wise correct, although I do believe it was, do not quote me on this, I haven't actually read this comic book, but I do believe the original Captain Marvel in the Infinity War was the male version of Captain Marvel. It's a bit dated, so that makes sense as to the reason why you have the male version of Captain Marvel, not the female version of Captain Marvel. Again, I've not actually read that, but, you know, she is the current Captain Marvel, so therefore it would make sense that Captain Marvel's a female for this and not a male. Now, why am I bringing up this very interesting resemblance? Well, what's interesting is that Captain Marvel is played by Brie Larson, who, during the Kavanaugh confirmation hearing, was one of many celebrities that went ahead and tweeted, #BelieveWomen, support women, you know, I stand by her, had a little cute picture of her, you know, in a park, and she's, you know, it looked like she'd been jogging, or I'm not sure what she's doing, but, of course, this one on Twitter. Now, what's interesting is, why on earth would you have someone that puts out, you know, these, support her, do these things, I stand by her, and now she's playing Captain Marvel, punching a woman who bears a very striking resemblance to Dr. Ford right in the face, and then proceeding to, what I can only assume by the trailer, is just downright just destroying this enemy. And I have a theory about this. It's not, don't get me wrong, this is not completely, totally, you know, 100%, this is a factual thing. No, this is my opinion on this. This is what I've kind of concluded to, based upon what I know about the circumstances and a little bit about what has been going on, especially during production for this movie. In that there's been a very interesting, because previously in these movies, the Captain America movies, the Iron Man movies, and other Marvel movies have not very much had a social justice feel to them. It's the reason why they've garnered a lot of support for these movies, and why they have a very wide audience and a lot of people on both sides of the political spectrum that really do enjoy them. But I've heard from Captain Marvel, especially with this movie, that they've actually kind of put a bit of it in there, a little bit of this social justice construct in there, and the fact that, like I said before and stated before, Captain Marvel is the pop culture icon for third wave feminists. Very, very powerful and prolific character for them. So of course it's going to have some of this nonsense come with it. Now, again, why on earth is this character punching this person in the face? And then proceeding to, you know, just eviscerating her, exterminating her, you know, just, as, I don't know, I guess doming her in the head with a, you know, nuclear powered fist to the face. But I have a little idea about this, and the fact that because Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed, you saw an almost immediate reaction from Maxine Waters and Hillary Clinton, who are both speaking very hard, very, very hard, pushing her to the front of their cause, and essentially allowing her to actually be what was supposed to be the final stroke, like just literally the nail in the coffin against the current president, because if they could stop this nomination, they could stop him anywhere else. They could impeach him, do whatever they want. That didn't happen. And in fact, even after just accusing him, it ended up coming out that the Department of Justice was actually not willing to prosecute or take this to trial based upon the facts of the circumstantial evidence that was provided during this was not only just that circumstantial, but it also showed on the part of Dr. Ford that most of the stories were not corroborated and that they offered little to no actual proof that this actually occurred. Furthermore, when it came out, and this is actually the ultimate thing that caused this memo to be sent forward, when it came out that she had been preparing one of her lifelong friends to be able to pass a polygraph, and this source being her own boyfriend. Suddenly, the confirmation hearing was finished. They did not. That's when she suddenly came forward and said that I'm not willing to pursue the trial. I'm not willing to prosecute. And then the confirmation continued as was previously supposed to be scheduled, although it was delayed significantly by these otherwise ridiculous acts of political it's a political circus. Now, what I find fascinating about the entire thing is really it comes down to the concept of, I personally think that they have Captain Marvel punching this creature in the face is because it represents their failure to secure his confirmation being denied. Specifically, the failure of Dr. Ford to be the key weapon in denying Brett Kavanaugh his confirmation. And I think that there's still a lot of, especially regressive left individuals that are extremely upset with the concept that she was not able to be the weapon that they needed to drive back this alt-right, evil Nazi Supreme Court monster that was going to strip women of their rights and take us back into the Dark Ages and do exactly what the regressives have been trying to do for the last 10 years and really just destroy civilization as we know it because, he'll make abortion illegal. Yes, because that will destroy civilization is the lack of abortions we can have. Oh my god. That's for another video, though, really in how that would actually not really do much of anything. So, anyways, another topic, another time. The point I'm making with this is that this is a message either very, very purposely or actually was something that they accidentally did as a result. Was they are furious at the fact that their gambit failed, and this kind of shows their mentality about it is now, since this failed, the feminists will take it up and they'll finish the fight, is kind of the message I got from this. And whether or not, like I said, this was an intentional thing, or if this was completely accidental and subliminal, I cannot speak on the behalf of these individuals, as this is their own project. But furthermore, I do think that there is a very interesting message being sent here. What its entire purpose and meaning is, I guess, will be seen further in the movie if this individual plays a larger part in it. However, it does remain to be seen that it's definitely something that's very prolific, in that why else would you have Captain Marvel punching the likeness of Dr. Ford in the face, if not to send the message of, we'll take her down. Or that since she failed, we'll pick up the fight, something along those lines. Like I said, I cannot speak on the behalf of this. This is just my conjecture, my opinion on it. I found it very interesting that this is in this movie, as, like I stated before, Captain Marvel is a very powerful feminist pop culture icon. So the very concept that she'd be punching Dr. Ford in the face is just incredible. And I really do look forward to seeing exactly what we see in this movie and what this correlation really is. So, if you have a thought or opinion on this, or your own personal theory as to why exactly they include this message in the trailer, please go ahead and leave your comment below. I look forward to going ahead and making more videos for you guys. And this is Your Average Joe signing off.